Good morning and welcome. You're tuned to the new and improved Leg Up Week 2, all things domestic, thoroughbred racing, reviews, previews and the like. The usual suspects here in studio, Paul Maoate, Stephen Hunt. Morning, Paul. So you've got a little bit more memorability to add to the table by the looks of what's happening this week.
That's right, Dad. Yes, the 2022 Bone Crusher New Zealand Stakes, won by
Robbie Patterson, Coventina Bay.
Correct.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So there we go. Let's chuck it on the table next to Mark Duplessis' goggles.
You're gonna keep adding.
There we go.
You're going to be adding every week to the memorabilia.
We're going to try to.
Yeah.
So have you got any memorabilia that you would like to place on the desk? Send it through to Thad Taylor, care of the GOB.
Paul Maoate, 106 to 110 Jackson Street. Will make it on the table if you've got anything you want to see on the leg up table. Looking at the leg up table, beautiful too. We've got a front to it this week, Steve. It's all coming together.
Yeah, we've looked after, aren't we?
Yeah, we certainly are. Foxbridge Day last week.
Yeah, ripping day.
Great day. Track was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought the track presented and played extremely well. There was an upgrade earlier in the card to a 7 from an 8. Look, we had many winners winning from different lanes in the straight, which is always a positive. I think the form played fairly true. The good horses were presented. They ran right up to betting expectations, many of them. So that was a good sign of how the track unfolded. Yes, there was a few races dominated by on speed, but I thought that was tempo related. So, no, big tick to Bart Cowan and the team at Te Rapa.
Yeah, and Dragon Leap, obviously.
Yeah, Dragon Leap was very impressive. We'll touch on that race in more detail soon. But, yeah, a great Group 2 victory for Dragon Leap, who has always presented as a good horse. It was just working out his distance range, and it's taken a couple of years, but the stable looked like they've got him bang on the money.
Okay, let's head up north. The leg up is back, BP, and look, ever so popular already. Trackside's most popular hour of television. I see memorabilia, merchandise popping up the length and breadth of the country. I think you found a little bit for us up there.
Look, we have. We've just started a little merchandise business, and it's outside the Matamata Racecourse where we've produced these high-vis leg-up vests. So good to see that Katrina Alexander is keen to get on board with the leg-up. That's just the start of things. Let's get the ball rolling, and hopefully that we can get a few more high-vis vests, coffee mugs, caps, bandanas. I'm happy to go full hog here, team.
I think this is...
Do you think the next chant will be up the leg up?
Up
the leg up.
Yes, it's quite simply.
It could well be.
But no, it looks great, doesn't it? So look, I think we've got a marketplace anyway for some merch.
Yeah, classy BP. That's us at the leg up. It's a touch of class. Look, we'll come back to you, Pops. Maiden of the week time. Ever so popular this segment. What did you find us this week for our Maiden of the week?
Look, it was a pretty easy one because I think we could all identify this race as being a key race. And look, really in the words of Billy Idol, this is hot in the city, this race. This 3-year-old race is going to be one to follow and one to look at a number of times. Lupo Soltario is the winner of the race. Looked good through the trials for Denise Guy and was a horse that was strongly backed to be able to get the job done. How many horses do you want to be following out of this race? Unlike Scribe, not many. You want to be following quite a few, that is for sure. So Mary Shand, very good through the line, brought the right section. It was Glamour Tycoon, went up to win the race. Still very good placing from that horse. Road Cone out wide. I know there was specking for that horse. There's a few to watch out of the race. I know that there was a couple of other good maidens throughout the week, but Stephen, numbers-wise, this race is certainly franked as one of our better maidens.
Proper race. It was teed prior to the race that it was going to stack up in terms of form. There was a lot of bully coming out from horses on debut, obviously the winner and the third horse, but and Glamour Tycoon had already brought that juvenile form from last year from black type. So yeah, it lived right up to expectation. The winner was very impressive. Look, it drifted on race day, which naturally you can get on a debutant. It opened at roughly around about $5, got backed into under $4 prior to Saturday, and then eased all the way out to $6.50, $7. I just don't want to take a knock on that. Normally SPs, horses that ease after a few starts, I want to I want to take a little bit of a respect on, but a horse on debut, that drift is quite the norm, so don't want to knock it there. And
all four that BP mentioned looking to win races.
the third horse, I think the third horse produced the fastest closing sectionals in the race, comparable to Dragon Leap in the feature. If you're way up in terms of raw figures, it was 2.5 lengths off the Foxbridge. Now that's outstanding, considering it was early on the day, and you'd have to say that the track was improving throughout the day, and we know the Foxbridge was at the back end of the card. So on raw figures, in terms of a speed rating, it's 4.3 lengths above maiden class. It's definitely a race to follow. The winner is really good. They've turned down some big money prior to making its debut. And the third horse, 1600, even in Oaks next season, looks its tea.
Yeah, they knew they had a good one.
Yeah, well, I see the Karaka Million 3-year-old race, Lupo Solitario is in there, and had a little bit of action for it.
We have had a little bit of action. Open 31's been backed into 21 and then $16 on the back of that performance on Saturday. It's clearly one of our worst liabilities in any futures markets currently, Lupo Solitario, when it comes to the Karaka 3-year-old classic.
Love the musical connections by Brendan Popplewell as
the scribe. He's multifaceted, BP. We know that. We know that. He can do anything. So, Steve, we're going to stay with you.
Yep.
BP's found one there once again with Lupo Solitario. Follow the first three, all four out of that race. They'll all be winning races. Back to you, Steve. I want you to crunch the numbers for us. You found us Crescetti last week to have a look at again and talk us through that. What race have you selected this week that you want to review for us with crunching the numbers?
I'll go to the feature last week, the Group 2 Foxbridge Plate. We'll see it from roughly around about the 400-500 metre mark. Some really good runs here. Obviously, the winner, Dragon Leap, was very impressive, aided by a gun ride by Warren Kennedy. Really stalked the speed, round about that neutral position. You see here to the 635 and change, 6.6 lengths above open class. So they've really gone hard in last 600, well below par. In terms of a class rating, again below par, 2.1. I thought Skillworth, considering she was the horse that was fresh up on the back of just one trial, stalking that hot speed, was presented early in the straight, was a bit of a sitting duck, but had the audacity to just get beaten in the concluding stages of the race. Look, Belclair was impressive from the back, albeit set up by the race shape. Her closing splits were the fastest in the race. And Pierre, he got back, covered her ground, got flush wide on the turn. His last 200 was quite impressive, but to me, he never really travelled well in the running. Just seemed off the bit, on and off the bit throughout. So if he can draw a gate, I'm willing to forgive. But it was a funny old run.
First
from
look
the
at Pierre,
second
I thought no, and then after I watched it a couple of times, I thought, oh, hang on, through the line, he actually doing his best work, obviously.
Yeah, again, those horses that were the second half of the field had the ability to conclude or finish off the race because they went out so hard. But Pierre, if he can draw a gate, I'm not ruling out his chance in a couple of weeks' time.
Talk about these figures, Steve. Run us through these.
So we've got the Tarzino Trophy and just the shape how we got lead into races. Look, we've got the 2023 Foxbridge Plate, which we've just seen. Speed rating minus 2.1 lengths. A performance rating from Dragon Leap of 93.8. You go back to the Tarzino Trophy, the last two outings. Back in 2021, the Tarzino Trophy, call sign Mav, won it with a speed rating of just over par, a performance rating of 101. Last year, 2022, Dark Destroyer won with a speed rating of minus 4.3, a performance rating of 92.1. That's significantly low for weight for age Group 1. The last 20 weight for age Group 1s held in New Zealand, last year's Tarzino ranked number 20. Often you look back historically, you need to be sitting around those high 90s, and on par for weight for age is around about breaking 100 for a performance rating. So you look at those horses coming out of the Foxbridge. As I said, Dark Destroyer was around about 93 and change with a performance rating. He will have to improve. For me, the Foxbridge looks to be the B grade form. You look at the horses that didn't perform, or didn't race, should I say, last Saturday at Te Rapa, La Creeks, Sharp and Smart, Legados. All those three horses have had at least one run last season where they've peaked or gone over the 100% rate or the 100% performance rating. Yes, albeit different distances. Sharp and Smart, his peak performance was 99.7, and that was in a Herbie Dyke over 2,000 metres. But I just feel that all those three would have to underperform if we're going to see the winner come out of the Foxbridge next week in the Tarzino.
Or we cop a really wet track. Maybe that brings them back to the field.
Yeah, obviously I'm talking about a reasonable track. If we get a wet track, then you go back to horses that come out of the Foxbridge because they've got that fitness edge. They've had at least one start, potentially two, like a Dragon Leap.
Yeah, okay. Good stuff, as always, Steve. We're going to head to Wanganui, guys. It's Wanganui Guineas Day. We've got a couple of races we want to have a look at there, but Let's talk about weather and track first. What are we playing on, Steve?
Let's have a look at the track. Look, the current track is a heavy 9. The rail's in the true position. Look, we haven't been back at Wanganui since the 23rd of June, where the rail was in the true position. So it's had almost 8 weeks off. So it should present in a nice fashion. Look, they've had 2 mils of rain in the last 7 to 10 days, so obviously it was very, very wet this time last week. We've had little rain this week. As I mentioned, fine weather leading into the races and on race day, which is important. I'm hoping for an upgrade between now and race start, so I'd be looking around that 8 pentometer reading for tomorrow's assignment.
Okay, let's get stuck into the Wanganui Guineas race number 7 on the card, Steve, and a nice betting field assembled here, I thought.
Yeah, Shanti Lace is the favourite, currently at 2.8 off an original quote of $3.30. It's a charm deal at $4.50. Shares that second line with Cricket's Chirping, who has also been a firmer with the 6, 5 into 4.5. Artie Boy at $5.08, also a firmer from the $5.50 original price. Quirky Habits, $5.50 out to 6. Thunder Hill, 11 with a Latin Way, 12 out to 13. And the ranking at $26. So best back runners happen to be the 6 and the 7, the 7 and the 6 in the first 24 hours of trading.
Gee, Shanti Lace, BP, this one we're about to see in a Castletown was very, very impressive. If it brings anything close to this, the 280 might be a gift.
Well, I mean, it's been backed into this price already, and I'm sure at the back of many people's mind is this particular race in the early part of June in the Castletown. I mean, she has destroyed them here against, horses that are not going to be in this race on the weekend. Discovery Bay and Co, who's finished 10 lengths off Shanti Lace, but she's had a good trial. She's had a couple of trials to say that she's forward and ready for this assignment, and we say it so often about certain racetracks in New Zealand, but certainly Whanganui's right up there with the horses for courses stat. It just is. It's that type of surface. So when you see a horse who's 2 from 2 on that track surface and did what she did when she was there last time, I think she does present as a really strong chance. And then you go off the poly with what she was able to do here at the trials. Look, it screams she's ready. And now the money's come for the horse as well. So yeah, I think there's many that are happy to be on.
There's no doubt there's plenty happy to be on, Paul, off the back of that trial and that win in the Castletown. But there's a little bit more to this field than first meets the eye, because that Rider Stakes form looks pretty good.
Yeah, we've got a number coming out of that Rider Stakes race. The winner, of course, it's a charm deal. Currently $4.50. Lisa Allpress jumps on. And look, he just tended to get back and then absolutely flies home. So, and he did that again in the Rider Stakes. So, I don't know. Can he let Shanti Lace get away and be able to pick her up? I'm not so sure. But certainly has the ability to get there. Another very nice run by, was it Cricket's Chirping as well? But look, I give It's a Charm Deal a big chance. I do. I think maybe Lisa might just ride him slightly handier than they have been, so he won't have to make up quite as much. But
how did he win that race anyway?
He had no rights whatsoever.
I'm taking a set against that race.
Yeah.
Slight set, yeah. Rated 1.5 lengths below the Castletown did the Rider Stakes. And well, Cricket's Chirping's probably the interesting runner in that horse, because a drawn barrier 1 and went out close to favourite in the Rider Stakes. And it found the inferior ground, the IG, which was a big no-no on the card. So, look, I'm willing just to forgive Cricket's Chirping out of the rider, but overall I'm just taking a slight set against the race.
How do you rate Artie Boy? Now he brings another form line into this, and he's defeated Cricket's Chirping when we saw him on debut, and he's got a bit of a reputation, the son of Ardrossan.
Yeah, he was impressive. He was super here this day. In fact, he holds the best performance rating in the field, and that's including the filly. 1 length stronger than the filly Shanti Lace was his performance from Artie's Boy. Look, he's got tactical speed, he can put himself in the race, albeit this was a genuine heavy track a few months ago, so he presents first up. I didn't see a jump out around Artie Boy, so you've got to back the stable that they've kept them up to the mark. Obviously there'll be natural improvement as they head towards deeper into the spring, but as I mentioned, the form, you can mirror it around Cricket's Chirping, who was a touch unlucky for second, but I thought the winner was holding it at the line when they both had clear air. So Artie's Boy, he's in the top 2 or 3, no doubt.
Okay, and then
he did sort of lean in.
Does
in that sort of 200, 150 to go, and Cricket's Chirping just had to sort of hold up slightly. So
and then Cricket's Chirping's come out and done this.
exactly.
Blinkers were the key here, Thaddeus. Blinkers were the key. They were added after the Ryder Stakes when it ran in the IG. This time, it went on speed. They didn't go slow. You see there 31 and change to the 600. Yeah, they've come home fair, but the job was done and the hard work was done on Cricket's Chirping in the first half of the race. Class rating solid enough for a horse, again, that has tactical speed, which we've seen in a light database. As I say, the blinkers added are the key for this filly. No jockey assigned yet.
I was going to say, no jockey yet. Is that a concern? No deductions, Paul. That's your first time you can get that, and no deductions for
The report is they're going to run. But it is it's a shame that there is no jockey allocated. I don't know the reasons, whether they're waiting possibly for a scratching for a jockey to get assigned. But look, we're 24 hours out from race day and there's no jockey. That's a no-no for me.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Last thoughts here, Paul, before we throw it back to BP. Or what are you thinking in the Wanganui Guineas? Because it's a nice betting race, isn't it? Can you get away from the fave?
Very hard to get away from the filly, and regardless of what you call her, Chantilly lace like Tony Lee in the French, or Chantilly lace like the Big Bopper. She's obviously, the money's come, she's into 280, that still may be a gift.
Yeah, okay. You like Artie Boy, Steve? Quite like Artie Boy at $5?
I do. I kind of think he's found his mark. I'm leaning towards the 6, Chantilly Lace. The only concern, BP, is where do you find her on the map? There is a lot of speed in this race. I can see with Laddin Way, which we haven't spoken about, has been leading in recent trials. Artie Boy, Cricket's Chirping. Thunder Hill from the north has shown tactical speed, even though it took a sit in a recent trial. So Chantilly Lace, hopefully they'll be looking for a little bit of cover. I don't think they'll look to go forward and try and find that pressure which is underneath this. So I think they'll try and find that neutral position, BP, with a little bit of cover.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a chance of just trying to camp off that pressure that's going to be presented underneath there. So that'll be down to Lily to be able to try and find that spot. If she can get in a sweet spot, though, just behind some speed, yes, I know she's drawn out, but if she can find that spot and just tuck in behind it and close like she did in her trial. And the other thing, too, is if the improvement in the track condition is there, I'm not too bothered by that either. I mean, the horse did win on a soft 6. When breaking a maiden victory in the River City as well, so not too worried if the track does start to improve by the time we get to the HS Dyke Whanganui Guineas for the 3-year-olds. First real serious 3-year-old race for the spring, and happy to be with Chantilly Lace.
Were Overs gods smiling on customers last week? I like to note these down. I see White Nymph was on the Overs gods sting last week, and White Nymph goes around in race 1 at Wanganui. White Nymph, I've got that right, or El Nymph?
El Nymph.
El Nymph. I knew I had it wrong too. El Nymph, and goes around in race 1 at Wanganui tomorrow. Let's have a look at last week's market movers. Were the Overs gods smiling? Not particularly. Light of Plutus, Andrew Forsman, 10 into 480, resumed over a mile, so that will be one worth following. Around a nice 4th, boxed on well. Light of Plutus, Diamond Jack, absolutely hammered. Race sort of didn't suit. Meacham Lad led all the way on speed. Lots of Z's. This is an interesting one. 31 into 9. Finished 6th of 16. So 37 start, 1 win horse. But money speaks all languages. Dragon Leap, well, we've touched on Dragon Leap already. 6 into 3 and got the chocolates. That was extremely well backed. Awapuni keen on Bubbles. John Wheeler was 420 into 250, managed 3rd, but it's only had 4 starts, so you'd be wanting to stick with keen on Bubbles. Star Billy was a really interesting runner. Ran behind Cricket's Chirping. Peter Didham, 16 at 750 and ran a very, very meritorious second on debut, so you'd be marking Star Billy down in your black book. And Rocket Lad got the job done on the synthetic, 350 into $2 at Cambridge. So let's keep an eye and hope Overs gods will be smiling this weekend.
Hey, I got a lot of faith in you. I'll stick with you, kid, that's the bottom line.
Lance O'Sullivan Award BP for this week. Well, it can only really be one jockey in this case, I would have thought.
Yeah, we're certainly going to, this weekend, give it to Sam Spratt with what she did with Con Artist, because it was a good ride to get Con Artist the victory in the last race out of Matamata, but also one where it meant it was her 1,000th New Zealand winner. And a ride that wasn't just a case of just sitting in front, stacking them up and racking them and then kicking for home, as we've seen so often with Sam Spratt, because this horse wanted to get away from the rail, had to balance up, go again, inside and outside were coming. But Con Artist was able to find victory in the last of the day, Sammy knew it, and the big smile right on the line. So, yeah, a massive achievement for her. Of course, whenever we start talking about Sam Spratt and her career, we immediately think about Mufasa and just how incredible he was for her career, winning 8 Group 1s on Mufasa out of her 18 Group 1s. Captivate, I think, was her very first Group 1, but 89 victories at that group enlisted level. Of course, she picked up a recent Group 1 last season with Belclare, of course, in the New Zealand Thoroughbred Breeders, and yeah, a massive moment, and she was able to get that bang on with her win number 1,000 on Sunday aboard Con Artist.
Well, I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free.
Paulie doing hard time. Who was the unluckiest runner or unluckiest group of people around a horse last week? I want you to highlight something for us from last week where people deserved or the horse deserved a better outcome. Where'd you go this week?
Well, it was another one that was very, very well backed, Thad. And unfortunately, the race shape didn't really suit. They sort of dawdled along up front, and then was it Magic Ace just came absolutely flying home. Plenty were cheering because plenty were on once again, and just had a little too much to do, unfortunately. I think was it Joe Doyle on this time? They just there was no speed up front early on, and so for him to get up and just a couple of lengths off, a length and a half.
That had to have a bit of boys get paid about it, Steve, didn't it? The
I believe
boys
so.
there got hoed in. The result
so.
was horrendous. And
That was a good win from Good Oil. Replicated what he did 12 months ago, won the corresponding race in a similar fashion. Excuse me, jumping, fighting the paint, leading. I wouldn't say he stacked them up on that occasion. Look, they just went under 2 lengths below class to the 600, but it was a good game finish or result, considering he was first up.
Imagine they deserved a better outcome, Paul.
They did, yeah. You'd be on it next time. I get the feeling they won't get the odds next time.
No.
And also, lads, too, great ride from Donovan once again too, wasn't it? Now, great to see him on TV and speaking about afterwards as well. Of course, we had that ability to do that with being on track and catching up with the jockeys post-race. And he was a young man that spoke well. And, of course, he was able to be the inaugural winner of the Lance O'Sullivan Award, of course, a couple of weeks ago with White Noise. And he got that bang on as well for Andrew Forsman. Good hard worker who's doing the mahi at the moment is Donovan Cooper, and he's certainly getting some treats.
That'll be a quiz question in years to come.
Oh, it will be. Is that a backhanded rap from himself, BP there, just picking out Donovan? Yeah.
It's a trend of BPs.
Yeah, very good.
DB Cooper.
Yeah.
No, it's DA Cooper.
No, and congratulations to Sam Spratt too. That's a huge effort to get to 1,000, and she's been through a lot. So
if she's not the best front-riding jockey in the country, she's right there up in the top 3.
Yeah.
Great to see her do it with another front-riding effort.
Yeah, 100%. Righto, guys, we're going to move it along. Race number 6 at Wanganui's the rating 88 Sprint, Steve. And, it's competitive, this, I thought.
Competitive and also static for the first day or two of trading. Rocket Science heads the market at $4.50 unchanged. Old Town Road 5 into 4.80. Rein It In $6.50 third line. Top Brass Flower of Wanaka $8 each of 2. GC resumes from the Marsh Grills combo at $9. Calico also on the fresh side at $10 from the original price of $9. Sanibel 10, Tabby Court 11, Hakaboogie 18, and Waisaki resumes for Alan Sharrock at $26, working back from some cup races deeper into the summer. But look, no strong lead, as I say, fairly static with a dribble of money for 4 or 5 runners.
Yeah, okay, BP. Look, there's a few ways you can dice this one. I thought probably the Rein It In race at Otaki would be the first one we want to have a look at, because there's a few contenders that went around in this race.
There is, and you'd have to say with Rein It In, he actually gets in a good place of the weights. He gets another 1.5 kilos swing in his favour up against Old Town Road, for instance. So that's got to be something that needs to be respected here with Jimmy Chong taking the ride here aboard this horse. Has had a trial since this day, but it's a sticky race, isn't it? I find this one an awkward race, but the form here around first and second, especially with Old Town Road, who was beaten on this occasion. We know that the horse can operate at this venue as well. It's another key pointer. He's never been out of the money. Here's Old Town Road. Look, overall, I found it quite hard. I don't mind a horse, though, that has got the stakes form. Now, we'll look at Rocket Science first of all, and then I'm pretty keen to have a look at Flower of Wanaka, who does bring a stakes-winning performance out of Hawke's Bay. But Rocket Science, first of all, a runner that's had a couple of runs in this preparation. The last of them when finishing into 4th position, has had a recent trial as well, has this horse for Bryce Revel in the market, and look, is one of those horses, again, that has the right form here at this venue, does Rocket Science. But yeah, as I said, I don't mind Flower of Wanaka, boys. We'll bring you in here as well, just around this horse, because it does have that Tauranga Classic victory from 2 starts ago when it was held at Hawke's Bay, when winning at that weight for age.
Steve, Flower of Wanaka, I mean, 1,200 metres, any concern for you?
On paper, it would have to be a concern, but I reckon how the race is going to unfold, it could get away with it. This was its second last start, but look, again, there's plenty of speed in this race. You've got Top Brass, Rocket Science will push forward. Old Town Road and Tabby Court have drawn awkward gates, will ignite a little bit of speed for the first furlong or two. So I think from Flower of Wanaka, barrier 1, she can just stalk that speed with Lily aboard with that claim. She's the best weighted horse, not just in this race, but possibly on the day at Whanganui. As you mentioned, 2 starts ago, she's a weight for age listed winner. She sits on the minimum of 54, but gets down to 52 with that claim. She's beautifully placed, and I just feel from barrier 1 she can get away with the 6 furlongs here, rather than her normal sweet spot is 7 furlongs. Because of the pace up front, she can stalk it and find that late split and get over them late.
Okay, Paulie, what are you thinking here?
I love the look of Top Brass.
Okay, nice.
I really do.
Michelle Bradley, is it?
Michelle Bradley, that's right.
Yeah.
I think that he's had a couple of very, very encouraging runs. The last start was 4th behind Dragon Leap, and down the straight at Ruakaka, just when he wanted to pull out, Dragon Leap loomed up outside him, and he just had to hold steady slightly, and then he finished off nicely. I think he would have finished a lot closer to Dragon Leap if he got the sort of clear air when he needed to. Ellen Nicholas aboard, the Welsh Wonder Girl. Thank goodness she's going a lot better than the Welsh rugby team. But I do like the look at, and I like the price as well, $8. I think Ellen will probably take him to the front. And I think he might just get away with something here. So, yeah, Top Brass.
Okay, well, what about the track? What sort of the track play here, Steve? Because, you know, it's an improving track. I'm still saying it's a 9 currently, but I would expect it to potentially be an 8 tomorrow. Does that play any part here in race number 6?
100%. Good question, Thaddeus. I think this race, or this market, is dictated of how the track presents later in the day. As we say, it's a 9 at the moment. If we can get an upgrade to 8, a few of these horses will come into it, and vice versa. There'll be a few horses that play the negative card, including number 2, Old Town Road at 480. I want to take a set on this horse. I'm predicting we'll get an upgrade tomorrow to an 8. I reckon he probably wanted somewhere around that worst of 9, maybe even a 10. Old Town Road. He's been up for a while, and it's a sticky map for a horse that wants to go forward, and there's a little bit of speed underneath him. So he could be facing the breeze on speed for the first half of the race. I want to take a set against him. I don't want to borrow the 4.8. And I'm pretty keen against I'm pretty keen for the Flower of Wanaka, as I say with my comments prior. Just able to stalk the hot speed. I think it will get away with the 1,200 metres, even though on paper form that's a negative. And as we say, she brings group or listed form 2 starts back at weight for age at Hastings.
Okay, Paulie, final thoughts here. You sound like you're Top Brass. Anything else we need to hear from?
Yeah, I'm worried about Flower of Wanaka as well. So I'm setting against the top 2 in the market. And I'll have a little go at the $2 to $8 shots. Top Brass and Flower of Wanaka.
Sounds like you might have a little soft spot for Flower of Wanaka as well, BP.
Yes, just looking at a potential multi here, a Chrissy Bambring multi, which is going to return $22.40 for every dollar.
It's scaring me already.
Races 6 and 7, and that could be popular. That could be a popular multi with Flower of Wanaka at $8. I like the horse tomorrow. I think if you wanted to play a safer option, look, the 210 top 4 is just leaping out, and it's smacking me in the face at the moment, that 210 for top 4 multiplayers if you're looking to just try and roll something into the weekend. I do like Rain It In as a type. I think the Rain It In can be a chance in this race. It could be a little split bet there if I'm having single bets and then looking to play around with Flower of Wanaka with that 210 first top 4 through some multis.
Yeah, okay, thanks BP. Look, I think we want to have a look. I want to have a look anyway at the Jockey Premiership, because I heard a rumour that Minute with Maoate was going to be back this week, but I've heard we've delayed. Have you delayed till next week? But you can have a few of these jockeys coming up.
It'll be back next week. 100% it'll be back next week.
Okay. Warren Kennedy's been the big mover here, hasn't he? I mean, there's been plenty of money for Warren Kennedy, Steve.
Yeah, from memory, he opened close to $4, Warren Kennedy. We always anticipated that he may challenge the Premiership or chase it. And early indications that's the case. He's looking to travel. As we see, we're heading down south. We're seeing a bit of Warren Kennedy at Riccarton, etc. Look, Michael McNabb would be awfully hard to beat. Look, $1.70, I think that was the original price. But in terms of the volume of money, punters are gravitating towards the pointy end. Michael McNabb, obviously Warren Kennedy is our biggest liability. A little bit of speaking for Joe Doyle, purely on how he started the season. He's leading the Premiership currently with 15 wins. Warren Kennedy at 14 and Michael right on their back at 9. So it's when it comes to the Premiership, regardless of ability on a lot of these jockeys, it's about finding which jockey is keen to chase it. Who's going to stay in New Zealand, not travel, and really chase the Premiership, and also look for that jockey that very rarely gets suspended, because we know that can play a pivotal moment when it comes to the back end of the season.
Warren Kennedy, who do you like in the Premiership, Paul?
I do like Warren Kennedy. I like him a lot. And a couple of markets, actually. I know that we don't have the other one. We might touch on that next week.
Yeah, the Grand Tour.
With it being Tarzino Day next week. We will touch on it. But yes, Warren Kennedy, I just think he's going to get a number of very, very juicy rides.
He can ride light, which is another positive.
Yeah, he was at Riccarton yesterday. You made the best point about it. He was at Riccarton yesterday. That almost tells you all you need to know, I would have thought, around Warren Kennedy. Well, speaking of Riccarton, we're going to head down there and have a look at a race number 6. But before we do, Steve, weather and track, do we know what we're playing on down there?
Heavy 8 currently. Look, they're protecting the inside part of the track. And not surprisingly, knowing that it got a bit of a hit over Grand National Carnival when the rail was in the true position. So the rail's out here for the 11 metres. It's out to 8 metres to the 1,000 metre mark, and then the remainder of the 11 metres you see there graphically, looking just to protect that when we come back into the Premier Carnival in the early stages of November. So heavy 8, hopefully for an upgrade. Again, it's fine weather between now and race close tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, I think I said 6. Of course, that's completely wrong. We're looking at race number 3 on the card, which is the 3-year-old over the 1,200 metres. Steve, run us through this market.
Yeah, Viva Vienna has been well played. Was north of $3 on opening, now trading 2.8. Accounts are roughly 50% of the hold. Illicit Dreams resumes here on the back of winning a couple last prep at 4.5. I'm a Roman, the debutant, at $7.50. A little bit of speaking for Move On at $13 in the middle market, and Misspeaks at 15 as well as hold that opening quote. But overall summary, they're pretty keen on the favourite here in Viva Vienna.
Yeah, Viva Vienna's been looking pretty good, BP. Look, a lot of these horses down there resuming their campaigns with, half an eye potentially on, 1,000, 2,000 guineas and the like. So I think this is Viva Vienna winning its trial. No,
you're right. And of course, the first of those stakes races down there is in a fortnight's time. That'd been the Canterbury Bell Stakes on the 16th of September over 1,200 metres. So there's an opportunity for horses to bounce out of this and go towards that race. Look, this is a nice 3-year-old filly. You only have to go back a couple of starts into her preparation last season, which she's run second on Boxing Day behind Tokyo Tycoon. Tokyo Tycoon is our 2-year-old benchmark. So that is unbelievable form, really, when you think about it. I thought her trial was good. She was beaten 3/4 of a length on a heavy surface out of Avondale. It's an open trial over 800 metres. And you can see the horse leading them up here on this occasion and is beaten. I'm sure they'll be hoping for a track condition that is on the improve out of Riccarton and can work its way into the better spot. So good draw, Weatherly aboard, Tangerine and Force already. They've taken a team of horses down there. They've been successful on the synthetic yesterday and of course the prior synthetic meeting, so that they're ready to rock and roll. The horses I've sent down there do like it a lot. I actually don't mind the stablemate too, and Rhetorical, just quickly on that horse. Rhetorical's a horse, if you go over the October-November form down there, was in form also. Just one of those horses I didn't mind off the trial. It was out wide, it was working home in a bunch finish, but was a very good trial field that was won by Tulsi, because there was a number of good horses in that race. So yeah, don't mind both, Te Ako Pair actually.
Yeah, no, fair enough too. You could do worse. Illicit Dreams and obviously Mogul come out of a Champagne Stakes, Paul. I think we've got that replay. Can't be discounted, I wouldn't have thought.
No, certainly not. Really like the look of the Illicit Dreams as well, the Champagne Stakes winner. Just how ready is she to go? Haven't really seen a lot of action on Illicit Dreams. Money-wise, all the money at the top of the market on Viva Vienna, so it's just a wee bit of a worry. Has a tricky draw as well, but certainly look very, very good here. And so you'd have to have her somewhere in your market. I'm actually looking somewhere else.
Please, please.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, shocked me.
Well, I've got the Pittman colours on today, so I don't mind the look of the first starter, I Am Roman. Has been fairly impressive at the trials. In fact, I think we've got one here. I Am Roman. Funnily enough, Warren Kennedy is aboard, so should get a very, very nice trip. And it's just a case of whether this I Am Invincible gelding is ready to go. I think he may be.
Yeah, no, the trial was good, Steve, with I Am Roman. Hard for a first starter to come and win a race like this, but all accounts a pretty talented type.
Yeah, I think if you're keen on the first starter, just wait till race day. Looking at how it's trending at the moment, I'm a risk manager, and the overall profile on debutants when they're up against race winners, naturally they'll ease. There hasn't been a truckload of money for that individual in the first 36, 48 hours. So I'd be saying if you're keen on the debutant from the Pittman stable, wait till race day, you may get double figures.
Yeah, okay, and I just want to touch on Illicit Dreams with you. That Champagne Stakes obviously didn't rate terribly well. Would be a touch for concern
it didn't rate
there,
well,
or?
but I don't want to take a huge knock on it. 2 to 3 year olds, they can improve, they can regress. So but overall, the race, I just want to keep an eye on it without a deep investment. But what I do like about Illicit Dreams, it went out having won its last 2 starts. I love looking to back horses resuming on the back of last campaign when they've gone out on top and winning. It's a high probability they've gone out a happy horse, they've spelled a happy horse, and you can back them with a little bit of confidence. The only dramas with Illicit Dreams is there's been no trial leading in, so it's hard to get a gauge how forward she is, but look, it is only down 1,000 metres in the chute, and she does obviously have that form down that chute. So, yeah, tricky race. Viva Vienna, if you want to follow the money trend, that's the one to beat at 2.8 off the original quote of 3.2.
Well, the form's there around Viva Vienna as BP points out, Paul. You got any final thoughts here in the race? Obviously thinking about Michael Pittman, but anything else we need to know?
Viva Vienna, obviously the one to beat, but yeah, don't mind having a little stab on the first starter, I Am Roman.
Okay. Pops, final thoughts here in race number 3 on the card, the 3-year-old?
Yeah, I think the $8 around Rhetorical is certainly going to get some of mine. Palmer's in form. Narajan Palmer's riding really well at the moment. He is kicking home some good winners. He gets 2 kilos off, drawn low. And look, if the $8 is not there for you and you think Viva Vienna or Illicit Dreams or anything else is going to win the race, maybe explore the place optional top 4. I just feel as though this horse has raced so well here, close to this period of time. The trial was okay. Just might be a good chance at a good quote, but yeah, certainly Viva Vienna looks the one to beat in what we saw in a prior campaign and how the horse has trailed up.
Trying to do better, can't get no worse.
What I done wrong, I done right. It's my darkness, see the sunshine.
We're all about accountability on the League Up. It's confessional time where we have a look back and take stock and accountability around some mistakes we've made in the great game during the week. I'm going to come to BP first. Forgive me, Father, for I've sinned. Confession time, BP.
Yes, and look, last week with our 4-play bet, I took DWZ to score a couple of tries. And on the morning of the leg up, there was some good chat around that his knee was, not 100, and I stuck with him. Thought, look, he'll still get 2 tries. They're playing the Dragons. They'll just spin it wide, and he'll still score. Hardly saw the ball, and the Warriors actually only just got the dub in the end. But the Warriors won, but unfortunately, Air Dallin wasn't quite flying high on Friday night.
Killed our 4-play.
Look, BP did something that several NRL teams have failed to do this season. That stopped DWZ. So, no, he'll be back this week though.
Yeah, okay. And I see Pops has really reined it in for this week's 4-play as we get to that.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
we will.
I'm pleased to see that. Paul, what do we need to know from last week?
Oh, fair dinkum. I had a shocker.
Shocker.
I took on the Cossack and I got Cossacked. Look, I was was thinking maybe the travel might get... No, he was... Aaron Kuru aboard.
Yeah, it looks so easy. Now, George Simon just said it was a gift, $2.
Drifted.
Yeah, it did drift in fairness, so you might have been onto something, but...
Yeah, no, the Cossack, I salute you.
Don't take on a champion.
No.
You came off second best there, Steve. Confession from last week from you, please.
Respect synthetic form lines. Obviously, there's 3 tracks up and down the country, but on Wednesday, Cambridge, they had their meeting there, and Rocket Lad, I looked at its recent trial leading into its first up assignment over 1,550 metres on Wednesday, and it was ugly. It was yuck, but it was on a heavy track at Avondale, and look, prior to that trial, last campaign, he had 2 starts on the synthetic at Cambridge for 2 wins, and I didn't respect it enough, and he got the job done. And I think he opened close to $4 and closed at $2 even money. And Tom, Dick, and Harry were all on it. So, yeah, that's my confession for the week. And even Sean Ritchie couldn't stop it because he was a little bit nervous about it presenting first up. He thought it might have needed the run, but punters didn't want to borrow that, and they concluded to back the horse. The fact that
synthetic form's interesting, isn't it? I mean,
well, I looked
really
at the card in general on Wednesday. There were 7 races. Out of the 7 races, 6 of the winners had either won or placed on the synthetic. The exclusion was the debutant in the 3-year-old race,
Don Stefano,
who had placed at the trials on the synthetic. So it really is important. Horses have synthetic form lines. Just follow them in, regardless of what they've been showing on the turf, on trials, or on race day.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, we want to go to Riccarton. I want to have a quick look at Riccarton Race 5 before we move on, boys. It's the Pride Easy Feed Open Sprint, Steve. And a relatively dominant and deserving favourite here.
Again, a solid market presently, not a huge amount of turnover. Shala, who has a Christchurch form, at a $2.80 quote. Amberico at $5.50. Rockland just drawn a sticky gate from barrier 12 at $8. Specialty 8.5 resuming. The Buffer at 10, Midnight Runner at 12 of Makabar, Emanon the best of the rest at $14. A little bit of speaking around Chala, who, as we know, has that algorithm with Tiakau, Opie Bosson on, and a horse that will like to go forward and show tactical speed, even though it's drawn barrier 10.
A few words here, BP. Can you get away from the favourite here in race number 5?
Look, has the distance form, was able to win over 1,000 metres in a scoot down Trentham as a horse that trialled well recently by sitting forward and look, getting the job done. It's just giving you the indication it's ready to run a race, and then I guess you add the Opie Bosson factor to sort of complete what you want to see, really. I didn't mind Narco Haley taking the ride aboard Amberico. This is a horse who's shown good enough ability. Narco's coming along as a jockey as well, so brings that weight right back to 54 kilograms in a scoot over 1,000 metres. Yeah, I just thought maybe that horse could be a definite place chance. Had 6 starts at Riccarton for 5 placings and 1 win, so has to be in amongst your trifectas and first fours if you are looking to play around the favourite.
Paulie, race 5.
We just go Opie, don't we? We go Opie, we go Charla, we take the 280 and we're very, very happy.
Then we run.
I think so.
Okay, so you're not going to throw me out a double figure shot here? No.
No. Look, I was going to, but no.
Okay. Well,
I didn't mind the look of Midnight Runner, to be fair.
Thank you.
Okay?
That's
Got the inside draw, might get away if Joe Doyle can get him away nice and easy.
Yep.
He may be there at
You're
the
here
finish.
to share the information, not keep it to yourself. I had to squeeze you, but I knew you'd squeal eventually. What? Midnight Runner?
Midnight Runner.
Double figures, $12. Okay, thank you, Paul. Look, the other thing I want to touch on is I Wish I Win resumes, and we know what a massive campaign it has in store. Resumes in a Memsie, Steve. Up against Mr. Brightside, who came back with a win as the favourite at the moment, but I Wish I Win right in commission.
Plenty of flux here from when the final field market opened on Wednesday to where it sits now, Thaddeus. Mr. Brightside, who opened second favourite at $4.20, has been backed into favourite at $3. I Wish I Win. Drawn barrier 1, $3.50 out to $4.20 second line. Alligator Blood, again a sticky gate, as Mr. Brightside does, 13, 14 respectively. $5.50 out to 6. Princess Grace, the ex-American mare, 10 out, or 10 into 8 should I mention. Osipenko, the stablemate, 10 into 9. And Anavisto, the best of the rest, 10 out to 12. But yeah, a little bit of happening here in terms of the development of the market. Mr. Brightside, best back runner, 4.20 into 3.
Not BP, I Wish I Win. Well, what are we thinking here? 1,400 first up, back to 12 for an Everest. Slightly unconventional, but we know the ability of the horse.
Yeah, I think in Moody we have to trust, don't we, in terms of that Everest preparation with I Wish I Win. I guess one barrier draw that they didn't want was number 1, but Look, first up, where does he end up? That is the first question, and how far away could he end up on the rail? If he lobs sort of 3-back the fence, it may not be a bad spot to be. There is going to be that outside pressure in the race. You've got obviously Alligator Blood, who's got the speed to be able to cross him, and then Mr. Brightside could easily sort of tack over with Alligator Blood. So that does mean that his wide gate could be negated by following Alligator Blood, and that's why we've seen such a move for Mr. Brightside. He's also been able to overcome wide barrier draws in the past. 2 years ago, or it's your 2022 version of the Doncaster one from barrier number 18, did Mr. Brightside, and he did look ready to go when he won the Lawrence Stakes. But with I Wish I Win, if it's a race that does go hard enough up top and he gets the right splits, there is no reason why he can't be in this. I'm not surprised that he has drifted in the market to where he is sitting at 420 because of those reasons of, you know, sitting 3-back fence, 4-back fence is a horse that you probably don't want to be diving into. But if he gets to a silly price, which he might do, if that does map that way and he gets a late split, he's got to be in amongst us because we know his turn of foot and his change-up speed is very good. It's just a matter of him getting out and having the ability to do that. So I think he's a bet if you're looking for top 3, top 4 markets, and if he's flashing home, he might be right on song to have a shot at that Everest.
Yeah, bonus back, Paul. You're a promo man. I think there's a bonus back around I Wish I Win as well.
Yep, there certainly is. We've tried to make it as juicy as possible for punters to back I Wish I Win in the Group 1 Memsie. So if you do back I Wish I Win in the Memsie, and he finishes 2nd, 3rd or 4th, you'll get your money back up to $50 as a bonus bet. It has to be your first final field win bet on the Memsie, has to be on I Wish I Win to qualify for the promotion, but just head to the Punters Lounge on the TOB website to check out all the T's and C's. But yeah, surely I Wish I Win if he doesn't win. He flies home for a 2nd, 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, okay.
Interesting enough, 2 weeks ago, they had a meeting at Caulfield. Caulfield's just been resuming after it had a little bit of an operation. It definitely played inferior in the inner half of the track. So, look, you'll be able to get a guide, right? It's race 9 of 10 race cards, so you'll be able to see how the track's playing. But noticeably, 2 weeks ago at Caulfield, the inner part of the track, horses that had drawn an inside gate were definitely disadvantaged. So hopefully that's not occurring tomorrow.
Okay, well, that's something to keep an eye on. Good luck to the I Wish I Win team. All the best with an eye to the Everest. Oh, it's that time of the week, Paul. Foreplay time. How do you think BP's foreplay was last week, just out of interest?
Look, I've heard that you've taken him under your wing this week, and we expect a improved performance on the foreplay from BP this week.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, let's have a look how we went last week. No, sorry. We were only one away, weren't we, with last week, with the foreplay Dallin. But this week, BP, I see you've reined it in here. Where have you gone?
I have. I'm very happy to learn from the master here. I'll go with I Wish I Win as a top 4 investment, finishing hard, finishing late, and grabbing some top 4 spoils, hopefully.
Yeah, okay, I Wish I Win. Camp, you'd expect him to be storming home. Paul, your foreplay bet for the week?
I've gone to Wanganui, race 5. It's a rating 65 over the 1,200 metres. And I like the look of Conway O'Kieran for a top 4 finish here at $1.70. Trained by Robbie Patterson, and we've got the Robbie Patterson Bone Crusher sash up on the desk. So I just thought it appropriate that we have one of his runners in. And that last start win was very, very good. I can see Conway O'Kieran doing the same again. All we need is a top 4 finish.
You're high man at $1.70. Steve, you're low man.
I am low man. I'm going to go early in proceedings at Whanganui race 1, the rating 81 stayers. Our Nymph, who's fit as, can put itself in the race. I don't see too much speed overall in a 6-race field. Maybe gets the trail in behind Kahu Rock, and Carpe Diem sits outside the lead. But look, he'll be in the first 2 or 3 in running and be hard to run down.
Yeah, okay, and I've gone Wanganui race number 6, Rocket Science, top 4 at $1.60. Loves Wanganui, loves the distance, will race up on the speed. I thought, but after hearing you boys' comments, I'm a little bit nervous. But $1.60 Rocket Science, it's a $100 bonus bet multi that will return $510 or $410 to the winner, Paul.
That's right.
Tell us how we can get involved here?
Right, so we've already placed that bet. The $100 bonus bet is on, so we're ready to go. So check out the TAB Facebook page later on this afternoon. If you're watching live on Friday, check out the TAB Facebook page later on this afternoon. There'll be a leg up question there. Answer the question, and all correct answers go in the draw to win that 4-play multi if it gets up.
Sure, of course, needs to win.
And that'll be open right up until midday Saturday.
So if we're watching this show, if you've missed it on Friday, you're not watching it on Friday morning for some unknown reason.
And you're watching the replay at 10:30 on Saturday morning, then you'll still have an opportunity to answer the question and go in the draw. So the winner will be drawn at midday on Saturday, and we're ready to go.
If you want to win $410, get to that TAB Facebook page Friday afternoon and Saturday morning.
Well, the bet has to come in.
Yeah, of course, to win the bet, and then you need to rely on the 4 of us to get it home, right? That's surely the easy bet.
Three of us were very good last week.
Three of us were very good last week.
BP's joined. BP has joined.
We've got him in under that $2 mark. That's where we need him.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's got it. Okay, that's this week's 4-play. It's best bet time, boys. But I said we're all about accountability here on the Leg Up. Let's have a little look how we went last week.
Look, I found the weeking rather difficult, actually, so I've gone to Australia. I really like St. Lawrence. This horse could be anything.
Very good. We'll still get it. It's just pushing one through the covers for 1 or 2 there, BP. Start off with St. Lawrence at $2. I like that tactic. Exactly. Very solid.
But it's Deny Knowledge kicking clear, and Deny Knowledge too good for French Emperor. St. Lawrence, must be said, face value, a disappointment.
So I'm going with Kevin Myers in the Pakuranga Hunt Cup, and number 5, Hey Happy.
I think that's a fairly lusty blow to bet against the Cossack as your best bet. But anyway, that's might be just me.
He is a champion jumper, the Cossack, and Aaron Kuru daring ride, and the Cossack cruised it in second. It's close here. Donato on the outside with Raucus, and then followed over by Hey Happy.
Yeah, I found it tricky. Durapa stood away from Malpuni, but we'll go to the last, Tadapa. Race 10, the rating 75, 1400. Again, this horse just finds his wheelhouse. 7 furlongs at Tadapa. It's the best form that we've seen at Tadapa in the last 2 to 3 months, including Turn the Ace. He's a horse that has tactical speed. He'll put himself in that leading position. He'll be hard to run down, even with the possible upgrade of track conditions to a 7.
Clear in the lead, going to the last. DB's a power, will win it second at the line. Same Wow, I think, poked through for second, just ahead of possibly Electric Time, and Macfire was right in line with it.
That's a rough start. The BP just poking one through the covers. He got an inside edge. The St. Lawrence, you got absolutely
French cut onto the stumps.
You went swing for a 6 and just got clean bowled. And Mac Fire, Steve.
Just the improving track, maybe goes out for a turn or a spell, but
what do they say? Room for improvement.
Dust
boys.
the cobwebs off.
Yeah, dust the cobwebs. That was the round number 1. We can only but improve, BP. How are we going to do that this Saturday?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go to something that I'm a little bit more capable of doing, and that's swinging for the fences and more going across the line towards cow corner instead of punching one for 1. Let's go Shanti Lace, a horse who loves Whanganui. 2 from 2 at this venue. Was so good in the Castletown when winning there in June. Hoping for a similar result, so we'll go race number 7, number 6 and Shanti Lace.
Yeah, very well backed as well, so it's going to be awfully hard to beat if she brings her A game. Shanti Lace. Paulie, get off the mark, mate. Come on, this season.
I'm going to head down to Riccarton, race 6, and the top of the market is dominated by their Tiako stable. I don't mind the look of number 8, Mary Wecker. In fact, I think Steve may have tipped her out last season, and she got home for him as well. I think Terry Ray will have her ready to go. Currently around 750. Naranjan Chicken Palmer jumps on. He's been going very, very well. In fact, I had a chat with him earlier this week. He's a very intelligent man.
Right.
And he...
You've got to run rings around you then.
Oh, 100%. I'd struggle to keep up with him. So, yeah, Mary Wecker, I think is worth a stab. Naranjan Palmer, Terry Ray.
Are those percentages right? Are you still 44%, plus 44%? Has that been adjusted?
It's been adjusted.
Okay. Going for $7.50 and taking on Tiakau. So brave as always is Paul Maoate. Steve, where did you land for your best bet this week?
I'll go to Whanganui, race 4, the Maiden 1340. 3-year-old taking on older horses here, the Matador from the Marsh Barn. Last season as a juvenile, he finished a close second, the Champagne Stakes, that listed level you're seeing here. As a 3-year-old, he's had 2 encouraging trials leading into his fresh up run. McNabb jumps on, best of the day, the Matador, with a little respect with the money around the first start out of the Lennox team.
That's that word. We better tell the customers what that is. It's the Guzzler, is it? The Guzzler?
Yeah, 7's into 4.8. Debutant by Al Manzour, showing enough at the trials, but I'm going with race day 4.
Okay, Al Manzour. Star Billies by Al Manzour. I forgot to mention that as well. So there's another one.
A few of them doing well. Few of them going well, yep.
Yeah, okay.
You didn't ask him if the 19% had been adjusted?
Well, I sort of believe that. It's sort of a perception's reality. We believe that Steve would be 90% up. 44.
Tough crowd.
Yeah, tough crowd. Hey, you earned it, mate. You earned it. Okay, boys, it's time to wrap it up for another week on the leg up. Week number 2 in the bin, in the can, as they say. BP, are you be looking forward to next weekend's Tarzino Day? But where are you going to be tomorrow afternoon?
Well, there's no Northern meeting on, actually. There's nothing on till next Wednesday, but we will be popping into the studio leading into the Memsie Stakes on Saturday afternoon, so looking forward to that. Don't forget to Hawera on Sunday too. There's a very good jumping program there. I think the first 5 races there, because we've still got a number of jumps races to look forward to before we get to that real crescendo in the season. That being, of course, the Great Northern Hurdles and the Great Northern Steeplechase. And after what we saw on the weekend just gone, English Gambler was super impressive in the Pakuranga Hunt hurdle, and of course the Cossack blowing them away. It really does set up for that Great Northern Steeplechase with that clash with West Coast and also the Cossack. That's coming up on the 17th of September. But yeah, as you said, Thad, the big dog to kick off the spring is, of course, next weekend in the Tarzino Trophy. Looking forward to being there. We'll have the leg up live from there. We'll give him the most up-to-date information around track conditions. Of course, early look at the weather forecast. There is some rain in the forecast for Monday, Tuesday. So far, it's been a clear week. It's been sort of fine days. So let's hope that rain doesn't happen and we have a good week, because off the back end of that rain, it does look to be some sunshine. So fingers crossed we can kick off that carnival on the right note with a perfect track condition. Yeah, thanks, BP. You've got the jumps. There's futures out for the jumps.
Futures out today for both the chase and the hurdles. What are we looking at? 380 Nedwin, bury the cash at $4 when it comes to the hurdles, and for the higher jumps, a race that's dominated by 2, West Coast at $3, but the favourite is the Cossack at 2.2.
Okay, Paul, anything else we need to know before we get out of here?
Just looking forward to both meetings on Saturday, Riccarton, and in particular the HS Dyke Wanganui Guineas.
Good race, isn't it?
Sensational race, lovely.
What's been helped with
3-year-olds.
the fillies race being pushed back later in the season? I think it's run on Whanganui Cup Day.
used to be, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we're seeing the fillies clash with the boys, which is a good trend.
Yeah,
I wish I win, of course, in the Memsie. Very, very keen to see how he goes. And, of course, Wellington defending the Shield on Saturday night against Counties Manukau. Unbeaten at the top of the table. Your boys
you stole my thunder. We haven't even mentioned Manawatu yet.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Do we bet against the Warriors this week, BP?
Betting against them, did you say? I just wanted to sort of point out the New South Wales Cup team's been going pretty good, and that's practically what we're seeing there on the field in the NRL this weekend. And Tamati Martin's back. Nice little time to come back to Mate when we've got Metcalf out with a hamstring. So that's going to be setting us up beautifully as we get towards finals footy. Yes, can you smell it in the air? It's September football.
The leg up live from Sydney.
Oh, yeah, well, the budget might be there now, boys. You never know. Thanks, BP, for your efforts. Thanks, Steve, for your efforts. Where are you going to be tomorrow afternoon?
In the office tomorrow, but you just can't wait what unfolds this time next week. Hastings.
Yeah, we will be back for Tarzino Day. Thanks, Paulie.
Up the wires, up the leg up.
Yeah, up the leg up. Thanks for joining us again. We'll see you in 7 days' time on the leg up.